My sister destroyed my wedding gown, and my parents stood by her 3 weeks before my wedding. I opened the closet in my childhood bedroom and was struck with horror. My wedding gown, with its delicate lace sleeves and intricate embroidery I'd saved for months to afford, lay in tatters, sliced apart with scissors. My family dismissed my distress, calling it an overreaction and suggesting it was an accident. But moths don't leave precise cuts. Deep down, I knew who was responsible. I'm Nora, 26, and I need to share this because I'm reeling from what my family has put me through. My younger sister, Maya, 24, shredded my wedding gown, and my family expects me to just move on. I've always been the dependable one, while Maya has been the family's darling. My parents, Robert, 53, and Helen, 50, have excused her behavior since we were kids. Growing up, if something went wrong, they'd pin it on me or claim I was exaggerating. At 13, when Maya was 11, she destroyed a sculpture I'd spent weeks crafting for a school contest. She knocked it over while running through the house, shattering it. Instead of holding her accountable, my mother said accidents happen and I should have stored it safely. Maya never apologized. At 15, she stole money I'd earned from babysitting to buy makeup and clothes. When I confronted her, she cried to our parents, who made me split my remaining earnings with her, calling me selfish for not sharing. This pattern persisted through high school. Maya would misbehave, I'd call it out, and our parents would turn it on me, saying I was too harsh or needed to be more understanding because she was younger. My father stayed silent, letting my mother defend Maya while scolding me. At 18, I left for college and rarely returned home except for holidays, focusing on my studies and part-time work. I graduated with an accounting degree and joined a small firm. 2 years ago, I met my fiancé, Lucas, 30, at work. His kindness and respect were a stark contrast to my family's dynamic. When he proposed last year, we planned our October wedding. I was thrilled to have something joyful to focus on. I found a stunning vintage gown at a boutique, expensive, but I saved diligently. Its lace sleeves and detailed beadwork were perfect, and I felt radiant in it. I stored it in my parents' spacious, climate-controlled closet since my apartment was cramped. That was a grave mistake. 3 months ago, Maya started dating Adrian, 27, and became obsessed, constantly talking about marriage despite their short time together. When Adrian wasn't ready to commit, they broke up 2 months ago. Maya was devastated, crying for weeks and staying at our parents' house, where they coddled her, bringing meals to her bed and letting her skip work. They treated her breakup like a catastrophe, not a typical split. I was busy with wedding plans and work, but visited to check on my gown. Everything seemed fine, and Maya appeared to be recovering. 3 weeks ago, I went to retrieve my gown for its final fitting. Opening the closet, I stopped breathing. The gown hung in ruins, bodice slashed, sleeves severed, beads torn off. It looked like a vicious attack with scissors. I stood frozen, then confronted Maya in the kitchen. She claimed ignorance. My parents joined us, and while my father seemed shocked, my mother suggested moths or an accident. I pointed out that moths don't use scissors. Maya cried, denying everything, and my mother accused me of unfairly targeting her during her tough time. I left and went to the boutique. The owner confirmed the damage was deliberate and irreparable, and with only 3 weeks until the wedding, replacing it was nearly impossible. I spent days calling bridal shops, but nothing matched my original gown. I settled for a simple dress from a chain store, nothing like what I dreamed of. When I told my parents, my mother called me dramatic, saying the new gown was fine and I should focus on marrying Lucas, not holding grudges. My father privately said he believed me, but urged me to let it go to avoid family conflict, citing Maya's emotional state. I asked if they thought Maya did it. My mother said even if she did, it was because of her breakup, and I should show compassion. My cousin Zoe, 32, called after hearing about it, revealing Maya's social media rants about my wedding and how unfair it was that I had everything while she had nothing. I confronted Maya again, but she denied it, accusing me of trying to ruin her life. My parents sided with her, calling me the troublemaker. 2 weeks later, my family barely spoke to me, acting like I was the issue for not letting it go. Maya showed no remorse. My wedding was a week away, and I'd wear a dress far less special than the original. Every glance at it reminded me of Maya's betrayal. Lucas urged me to focus on our future, but I couldn't shake how Maya deliberately sabotaged something so meaningful, and my parents blamed me for being upset. They wanted Maya in the wedding party as planned, but I wasn't sure. Part of me wanted to exclude her, but that would spark more drama. I just wanted a peaceful wedding day. Update 1. The wedding and a shocking discovery. Thank you for your responses to my first post. They validated that I wasn't overreacting. My wedding last Saturday was beautiful despite everything. Lucas and I had a wonderful day, and I tried to focus on our marriage, not the gown drama. The replacement dress looked decent, and most guests didn't know about the issue. I let Maya attend but excluded her from the wedding party. My parents were upset but didn't push hard due to the timing. Maya acted normal, even congratulating us, seeming genuinely happy. For a few days, I hoped we could move past it, thinking my parents might be right about prioritizing family harmony. Then everything changed. 3 days after the wedding, while collecting gifts at my parents' house, I accidentally knocked over a box under my old bed. Papers and photos spilled out, including screenshots from a private social media group Maya and her friends used, dated a month before my wedding, around when my gown was destroyed. In them, Maya vented about my wedding, saying it was unfair I had everything while her life crumbled after her breakup with Adrian. She wrote that our parents always praised me, making her feel like a failure. Worst of all, she said my gown symbolized our family's unfair dynamic and made her sick. She wrote she was tired of being the nice sister and wanted me to feel disappointment. A friend asked what she'd do, and Maya replied it was time I faced setbacks. These posts were 2 days before my gown was ruined. This was proof Maya planned it, not an impulsive act, as my parents claimed. I photographed the screenshots and put the papers back, not wanting Maya to know I'd found them. I showed Lucas, who was stunned and urged me to confront my parents. I hesitated, knowing they'd likely defend Maya. I hoped she'd confess now that the wedding was over. When my mother called, she again urged me to forgive Maya, saying grudges were unhealthy. I asked if she ever considered Maya was lying. She paused, then said she couldn't believe Maya would do something so cruel, but if she did, it was due to her breakup. I realized they'd always excuse her. I told Zoe, who wasn't surprised, revealing Maya had badmouthed my wedding plans for months and painted me as a bridezilla to gain sympathy. I decided to confront my family with the evidence. At their house, I laid out the screenshots. Maya went pale, claiming they were fake or out of context. My parents were uneasy. My father seemed genuinely upset, but my mother minimized it, saying Maya was in a bad mental state and acted out of pain, not malice. Maya admitted to the posts but denied ruining the gown, suggesting someone else did it. I pointed out the timing was too coincidental. My father finally said Maya should own up, as her denials worsened things. Maya cried harder, and my mother accused us of ganging up on her, saying I should forgive her because she's family. The conversation went nowhere. Maya wouldn't confess, my mother made excuses, and my father was torn. I said I couldn't continue a relationship with Maya if she kept lying, nor respect my parents for prioritizing her comfort over accountability. I left and haven't spoken to them since. Lucas supports me but worries I'll lose my family. Update 2. A shift in family dynamics after confronting my family. I heard nothing for 2 weeks. I wondered if they were processing the truth. Then my father called, admitting Maya's actions disappointed him and apologizing for my mother's excuses. He'd tried discussing it with them, but my mother insisted I should forgive Maya, and Maya still denied everything. He was tired of the dishonesty and wanted to rebuild with me. We met for coffee, where he looked worn out. He apologized for not supporting me more, admitting he'd avoided conflict with my mother, who favored Maya. He revealed Maya had deliberately broken my things as a teen, like deleting my phone photos at 17, but they hid it to avoid drama. This confirmed they'd gaslit me for years, knowing Maya targeted me. My father wanted a separate relationship with me and asked to meet regularly. I appreciated his apology, but needed time to decide, hurt that he'd let me doubt myself for so long. Then my Aunt Diane, 49, called, supporting me and saying she'd always noticed my parents' favoritism. She'd confronted my mother, who dismissed her, claiming Diane didn't understand family loyalty. Word of the screenshots spread, and some relatives criticized my parents' handling of it. Maya texted me a vague apology, admitting to poor choices after her breakup but not confessing to the gown. Lucas noted she was still avoiding accountability. I didn't respond. My mother called, inviting me to dinner to work things out. I refused, saying I couldn't pretend nothing happened until Maya admitted the truth and my mother stopped excusing her. She called me unreasonable, saying I was tearing the family apart over a dress. I reiterated that Maya's lies, not the gown, were the issue. Exhausted, I'm leaning toward Lucas's advice to distance myself until they acknowledge the truth. I talk to my father occasionally, but I'm unsure about my mother and Maya. Update 3. The truth comes out. I cut contact with my mother and Maya, tired of fruitless arguments. Lucas and I focused on our marriage, and the peace felt freeing. 3 weeks ago, Zoe called with news. Maya was dating Ethan, 26, and talking marriage despite their brief relationship. She posted about her happiness, acting like she'd moved on. But Ethan learned about the gown from Maya's friends, who showed him the screenshots. When confronted, Maya lied, but Ethan pressed, and she admitted she destroyed my gown out of jealousy, wanting me to suffer. Shocked by her actions and lies, Ethan ended the relationship. Maya was devastated, begging Ethan for another chance and promising to apologize to me. My father said this was a wake-up call for Maya, who finally confessed to him and my mother about the gown, admitting she planned it. My mother was stunned, having believed Maya's innocence. Maya wanted to call me, and my father asked if I'd listen. I needed time to decide, angry it took a breakup for her to confess. When Maya called, crying, she apologized for the gown and her lies, saying her jealousy drove her and Ethan's rejection made her see her mistakes. I acknowledged her honesty, but said it didn't undo months of deceit. I told her the time for amends had passed, and I needed space. My mother apologized for not believing me and for excusing Maya. She said she'd respect my need for distance, but hoped we'd reconnect. Lucas thinks I should give them a chance now that they're apologizing, but I'm not ready. Maya's confession felt forced, and my mother's apology doesn't erase years of enabling. I'm maintaining minimal contact, responding only to urgent messages and attending major family events. My father and I are slowly rebuilding, but with my mother and Maya, I'm uncertain. I'm not unforgiving, but I need to protect my peace and marriage. Lucas and I are planning to buy a house and start a family, focusing on our future. My family must earn my trust through actions, not just words. For now, the distance brings me calm. Thank you for watching my story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and press the bell icon. Stay tuned for more real-life stories. Get more experiences.